the crew worldwide, from Cali to Twitter, real hardcore fans, boxing ass niggas, consistency cops, police the views, we'll pull up receipts for any debate you choose. Shout outs to Clan Archie for the dope production. Ring Gang stay with the best discussions.
Ring Gang Radio.
Yeah, so there's actually another fight right after that, and that's Gary Russell Jr., a.k.a. Mr. Gary Russell Jr., a.k.a. Turbo Fist, a.k.a. Sauna Squad, a.k.a. Los Loma, versus Jojo Diaz, who's been talking heavy shit. So let's do our quick picks and then argue about it.
Wow, this is a hard one to choose for me, man. Like, I'm really torn. I like Jojo Diaz. I like, the combination punching. I feel like his boxing is improved. It felt like he took a while to step up, but I think he'll edge Russell in this one. I don't know, man. Fuck, it's close, man. But I think I'm about to go with Jojo Diaz on this one.
Nigga, is you crazy?
So, I have Gary Russell Jr. by late KO. I could see Diaz possibly boxing him and maybe cutting him and prolonging it. But Gary Russell Jr. does have explosive power at 126, and it's only a matter of time before he lands that right hook. So that's why I have him by KO.
All right. As far as this fight, Gary Russell Jr., I'm not going to refer to him as Turbo Fist, even though he does have some fast-ass hands. Definitely not going to suspect him with the soft squad. But my boy, Jojo Diaz, pretty combination puncher, lets his hands go. Very accurate puncher. I'm going to go with Gary Russell on this one. I actually haven't given my pick. I've just always talked about how Gary Russell needs to be ready, because he does need to be ready for Joseph Diaz. But I have Gary Russell taking that victory. I think that Gary Russell is actually everything that Joseph Diaz wants to be in a fighter, as far as with the fast hands, combination punching, accuracy, power. Gary Russell has everything that Joseph Diaz has, but more. So I'm going with Gary Russell in that. I think he's a more complete fighter.
All right. First of all, I gotta apologize for my boy LB. He hit that blunt a little bit too hard when he was talking about who he picked. God bless him.
Okay, I ain't hit it yet, but damn, okay.
but anyway, as everyone knows, I'm a standing Gary Russell, aka the world's #1 featherweight. He runs shit at featherweight. I don't care what y'all say. Fuck y'all. So yeah. So yeah, Gary is going to win this fight, because frankly, it's too much of a step up, and Oscar is leading this boy to a slaughter, and it's not going to be pretty. This is going to be a highlight reel knockout, by Gary Russ.
Wow. Okay.
What up? It's Leon. I'm picking Gary Russell Jr., Mr. Gary Russell Jr., Woke Champions.
Salute.
By KO. My nigga gonna come out looking like the Black Panther.
Jarrell Miller. Shout out to Big Baby for that outfit. Man. Yeah, man. I can't. I like Jojo Diaz. Y'all all know I like Jojo Diaz, but I see this as a boxing match. I see Gary Russell Jr. versus Jojo Diaz as a pure boxer's dream type of match at featherweight. You know what I mean? That's what it's going to be? Who's the better boxer? And I think Gary Russell Jr. is the better boxer. So I would like to hear how you guys have, if anyone has Jojo Diaz winning.
LB?
I mean, you say anybody, like nigga, it's me.
Man, I'm hot too, man.
I'm fucking with you, bro. I mean, I agree with basically what you're saying. I feel like they honestly equal in a sense, just kind of like you were saying. But I feel like Gary Russell is the better talent, but I feel like Jojo Diaz gets more out of his talent.
How?
It's more consistent. It's like when I watch him fight, I just see more effort.
He fights more than once
like
a
I see
year.
with Gary Russell.
Yeah.
Gary Russell
I
does
think he
have
was fighting them cans for a minute too, man.
Was
Yeah. And then he don't fight as much, really.
I mean,
he does. He's only fought one time a year since he lost to Loma.
I mean, he's Stevenson Jr., really.
No, he's not Stevenson.
yeah, and
I mean, this the perfect doubleheader.
I mean,
Yeah.
and
That's the same fight twice.
yeah, and that does concern me. I mean, the only way I
Southpaw.
feel, the only way I feel that Gary would lose is the inactivity. I mean, as much as I'm a fan of his, I can't stand the fact that he fights once a year. I mean, that we thank Al Heyman for that, and I hope it's not a situation where Jojo catches him cold because he hasn't been fighting like he's supposed to, especially since he's the number one featherweight in the world, and Jojo catches him cold. And of course, if that happens, I'm not gonna hear the end of it from all of y'all. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen that night.
So here's the thing, Pat. Clearly, it's Henny Pat today. Gary Russell Jr. went out of his way to say that he fights once a year on purpose. You don't remember that embarrassing interview he had on Showtime, where what did he say? What did he say about himself? Like what type of strength did he say he had? He said some crazy shit, but he made it seem like the boxing business was holding him back from fighting more than once a year, and it's like, nah, bruh. There are a lot of dudes on PBC that fight more than once a year. So he fights once a year because he likes boxing for money only, which whatever, because he's really good at it. I don't think Jojo Diaz moves his head enough to get out of the way of that right hand from the right hook from Gary Russell Jr. And Jojo still makes some amateur mistakes. Not to say that Gary Russell Jr. doesn't, but
Because he does.
He does. He and
Fights
Pat,
only one way.
Pat, you have boxing eyes that are better than mine, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know that he drops his hands. You know he backs up straight. You know when he exits, he doesn't exit carefully. All those things. But Jojo Diaz makes, amateur mistakes the wrong word. He hasn't taken a step up before the step up to Gary Russell Jr. So if he was fighting Valdez, and y'all know how hard I ride for Valdez, but after the fights that he's been in, that would be a 50-50 fight. This is like...
Oh, can't wait to talk about that on another show.
I'm being honest. So Smoke Squad Smoke. No, obviously Valdez knocks him out. But the boxing, the realist in me, it's a 50-50 fight. But Gary Russell Jr. is like a 75-25 fight for JoJo.
Yeah, it's a big step up. It's a huge step.
Yeah.
I mean, Gary Russell don't really make adjustments. He just goes turbo harder. I mean,
I'm not
we'll
even.
see what it is.
That's what you need to do.
I'm not even saying that Gary Russell Jr. is like that good, but what his speed and his power, he's been fighting garbage opponents, but Jojo Diaz isn't a B+ fighter. He's like
Yes, he is.
really? So
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have to have
Until proven otherwise, until he loses, he's on a B level path.
Okay, B minus, I can see. B+, nah. So
Like, I just
Russell-
said B. I didn't.
Okay.
No pluses or minuses.
I said he's not like to me he's like a 81 out of 100 or something, and Gary Russell Jr. is like 89, but his speed's a 99 and his power's a 96. And
I don't know. I would put Gary Russell at 89. I mean, I was thinking more like 86,
okay, 87.
85.
Let's compromise with 87. But Jojo Diaz don't move his head, and moving your head is a really good thing to do if you don't want to
He
get
doesn't
knocked
move
out.
his head enough. He
Yeah.
moves his, he doesn't move it. He doesn't move his head enough.
He doesn't. So the last time I saw him fight, at least to my recollection, he was still pushing his punches a little bit, and because of that, his head wasn't, naturally going with the flow of his weight. I could see him cutting Gary Russell Jr. though, because he has fast hands.
I feel what you're saying about pushing his punches, but I feel like when he started fighting tougher, more durable opponents, that's when he kind of took a little bit off his shots and tried to box cats more. Because if you remember when Jojo Diaz was coming up, he was like a little southpaw Canelo. He was whipping hard combinations, making good fights, beating people asses. And then they got him some tougher dudes, and he kind of, I guess,
he started going
he grew. Like he started boxing more. He wasn't just barraging dudes with punches. I mean, look how long it took Gary Russell to step up. And when he stepped up to Loma, who, mind you, already took an L. I mean, he lost he won 3 rounds to Loma?
That's a rough fight. We don't talk about that in front of Pat.
Okay, Pat, I'm gonna speak to you, Pat, directly. Let me ask you this. All right,
Pat just went to his panic room.
We call him Turbo Fist, Gary Russell Jr. Turbo Fist. So
Sauna Squad.
Back in the day when you playing a fighting video game and you keep losing, he keep doing moves on you, you losing and shit. Do you switch the button to turbo, or do you come up with a strategy to win?
I mean, the nigga was winning. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, the niggas couldn't stop the speed. I mean, what are you gonna do? What adjustments does he need to do?
But what if?
I mean,
you go turbo,
like
but you
before
still making the same mistake?
That's what I don't understand. This motherfucker was just doing what he was doing. He wasn't. I mean, before Lomachenko, he wasn't struggling in his fight, knocking these dudes out, or he was putting on a clinic.
But look who he was fighting, though.
Yeah.
He was fighting the same dudes that he was fighting
that
after
Stevenson
Loma.
was fighting.
He was fighting garbage before Loma, and he's been fighting, C+ after. So, yeah. Maybe this is like part 2 for the Badu Jack Adonis Stevenson.
Yeah, actually, because I was going to say something like that, actually. Just looking over Gary Russell Jr.'s resume, I can't really see anybody that he's beaten that the Gary Russell's fought that's better than Jojo Diaz. I mean, I know people say Johnny Gonzalez, but I think Johnny Gonzalez was...
Suai Koden said that.
It is Johnny Gonzalez. I mean, Johnny Gonzalez knocked out Mars in 1. I mean, that's a better victory that Jojo gets ever.
He was still legit. The Gonzalez win is legit. I ain't gonna take that away from dude.
It was a legit win.
But that's it.
I mean, it really wasn't something where I'm going to hold on to Johnny Gonzalez means I'm the man because I beat him, because at the end of the day, Johnny Gonzalez had lost multiple times before.
By knockout.
So
no, I agree with you. Like, I felt like he needed 2 more solid wins to really make the Gonzalez win look better. Just like how with Badu Jack, like Nathan Cleverly is a decent win, not spectacular. I mean, the fight, the way he did it was spectacular, but you see how he got the Darrell, he got the
Butte, Grove.
He really beat the gal.
Groves. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like Gary Russell's missing those.
Yeah, he should have.
Gary Russell doesn't have.
He should have fought the Leo Santa Cruz. He should have fought Leo Santa.
And vice versa. Don't let LSC off the hook on that one. And vice versa.
Oh, because he was so
wait, we can't.
Morris.
Yeah, we can't let him off the hook when he's already fought Frampton twice and Abner Morris. It's not like his wrestling compared to Gary Russell Jr.'s is not
come on, man.
terrible. It's like talking.
Turbo Fist. This is why you need to fight more.
Gary Russell Jr. has a bunch of IMs. He doesn't have any it was writtens, let alone Illmatics, let alone Supreme Clienteles. Not that Jojo Diaz does either, but now that the more we're talking about it, it could be a scrappy fight.
Yeah, I think it will.
I think it's gonna be a boxing match.
A high speed boxing match.
If Diaz doesn't get if he doesn't get knocked out the first time he gets chin checked, it could actually turn out to be a competitive fight.
Russell got power, but he ain't Stevenson. Like let's stop it. Like
say that, but I think Russell can stop him late because
I think he can, but I don't think it's gonna be one early punch.
I think Russell could stop him early or late, but you know, I think Jojo Diaz. I think Diaz could be a spoiler. Yeah, the more that we're thinking about it, I'll take that 75-25 down to 65-35, and because the thing I'll say about Gary Russell Jr. is he has a crazy amount of self-confidence because he
when
fights.
You're woke, you're confident. That's all that matters.
Well, Pat, I'm not even available to be woke, and I'm super confident. So what are you trying to say?
Woke champion.
No, I'm. But he's super confident in himself, and he does have that highlight reel speed. So maybe the once a year sauna dude will make a highlight reel knockout. But the more that we talk about it, I could actually see it turn into a scrappy match.
Don't be surprised Jojo Diaz wins a majority decision or a split decision. There's like at least one fast knockdown.
I don't think Heyman would let that happen. Actually, you know what? Oscar's got more influence with the judges.
I was just about to say
that.
I was just about to say, but I can't see them robbing. I can't see close decision going to Joseph Diaz in Gary Russell's backyard. Like they are fighting in like Maryland, I believe, at the MGM National Harbor. I believe that's in Maryland.
That's his hometown arena.
That goes. If it gets a close fight, that's going to Mr. Gary Russell Jr.
Why aren't they fighting at the Armory?
Why aren't they fighting in Canada? That's my thing.
Pat, why isn't Gary Russell Jr. fighting in Canada instead of his hometown?
Really? I know, right?
I want this.
Jesus.
No, I want this. There shouldn't be a split site card. It should be on one card. That's my thing. It's like
I feel that.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Cause Superman can't go to America because of his background, but Russell can go to Canada. That's my thing. It should have been on one card, one arena. You know. So
Gary Russell was against that, I believe he said.
Yeah, I was gonna say. As woke as he is, they have a really hard time getting him to fight one time a year. Imagine making him having to fly to Canada to fight. They'd have to pay him $3 million.
I mean, I saw him in Connecticut. I was ringside talking with his peoples. You know what I'm saying? He'll do it. You know.
You sure?
Yeah, I believe he would.
I'm just fucking with you, Pat.
Oh no, we might have some receipts.
I think Pat got his edibles a little bit early. He
I
on
wish.
one. The consensus is kind of that it's gonna be a good fight.
Yeah, good fight.
Or it could be a early
Great
KO.
card.
No, I don't think it's gonna be an early knockout either way. I don't think it's gonna be in either fight. I think both fights are gonna go. I actually think both fights have the possibility to go the distance, just because of the way that they fight. Just the way, especially Russell Diaz. I think Russell can stop him, but I wouldn't bet that he'll stop him. I definitely wouldn't bet Joseph Diaz stops Gary Russell. So I definitely think that's going to go the distance.
The crew worldwide, we'll call you the Twitter. Real hardcore fans, boxing ass niggas, consistency cops. Police the views, we'll pull up receipts for any debate you choose. Shout outs to Clanarchy for the dope production. Ring gang stay with the best discussions.
Ring gang.